I literally did or started this video 7 times today from Kentucky. The first few times I wasn't, I'm happy with the way the horses raced in general. In fact, quite happy with a few of them. Obviously, the lone sore spot today was Gymboree. Did I drive her too hard? Did she bleed? Was she sick? What happened with the filly that just trotted in 56? Scotty and I were talking about it after, and he goes, the front wasn't really playing well today. It was later on, but Lexington's so weird. The first part of the card, it was not. Then a couple of times it seemed like it was okay, and by the end of the card again, the front end was holding up because of the sheer heat and the way that track dries. It's totally different. It's completely inconsistent. The first, I guess I'll start from the start of the day, because I believe I have got to the bottom of it. So I get to the track. It bothered me all night that they were going to have 7 qualifiers starting at 10:30, and then they were going to have the 2 non-betting races, which were Grand Slam Deo's race and Green Glitter's race. They weren't going to televise them. They didn't video them. I don't see any videos up there from Kelly. By all accounts, they weren't videoed. They were, for the most part, paid qualifiers, and they were going to go off at 12:30 and 12:37. Well, how can we possibly warm the fillies up? 10:30 post for the qualifiers is 2 hours before the race, and you're going to run the qualifiers off. Well, we're going to let everybody warm up after the 4th. We're going to have a short break. All right. We still have Rosetta in the first race too, so we got to warm all these horses up. I can't go 2 trips with them now. We did the best we could, and Eric did a hell of a job, because I thrive in a fair amount of chaos, and it was bothering me to no end. So we get there, get the horses warmed up best we can. It starts to rain. Now, Kentucky, it's 88 in the shade. The sun's gone away. It felt like it was 188 at a couple of points today. I had to take out, because this clay is red. It will destroy your driving suit. Destroy it. Your gloves, your helmet. It's a beautiful place and a great track, but it is very, very hard on racing gear. So we go and warm the horses up in the rain. We go to race. It stops to rain for a minute, and when it stops to rain, the heat just sets in. Now I have a rubber suit on. I may as well have scuba gear on. Go out and race Grand Slam Deo. It's muddy now. The rail's all chewed up, and Scott's telling me how bad the track was the night before and how good the horses raced, both of them. He told me that the Pinsky family is very, very high on the colt that beat Memento Mori, and he said and it didn't matter. I thought the horse raced good. He goes, he said I drove him terrible. He said, I should have protected position coming out of the turn, and to get the jump on me, and then I had to try and run down who I find out later is one of Carter's, the horses that he likes one of the most, which is uplifting to us, right? Because he's our best horse, or one of them for sure. So, we're talking about the track. Now, keep in mind, there's so much going on. I go out and race Grand Slam Deo. I am, like James would shake his head. I was so far out of the race at the 3/8 pole, I'm off the rail a bit, and the mud is just pounding me in the face. In fact, I went in to see how much of a variant they gave. They didn't even give a variant. They rated the track heavy. Not even sloppy. Heavy. The last time I saw heavy was like Summerside Raceway, circa 1986. Heavy. But it was heavy. And those were a hell of a mile for those fillies. Now, if you found yourself in the right spot of the track, everybody was advancing. Grand Slam Deo was very, very good. I don't know what her last half was. Her last quarter had to be 28 and a piece. And she was great. She got out of gear a couple of times, but she had to get out of gear when the hobbles hit her. Took the head poles off her, took the Murphy blind off her, took the bell boots, took everything off her, took the trotting boots off her behind. All she had on was vet wrap and trotting hobbles. And I said to Eric after, the fillies don't race next week for whatever reason. They skip a week. Maybe we'll qualify her with no hobbles on. Now, I'm not sold on that. I'm going to chew on that for a little bit. But I'm thinking about it. She was very good. Now, it's so hard. It's so hard to get too high on your horses in Kentucky. Everybody has good horses down here. There's 40 very nice fillies down here. The filly that beat us in the Wildcat was a $210,000 filly. The filly that won the race later on was $810,000. Everybody has expensive horses down here. Grand Slam Deo raced good. Finished third, trotting as hard as she could to the wire. I don't care about time. None of that matters to me. The best race of her life was today. She was awesome. Didn't get paid awesome, but she was awesome. Very happy with her. Now I go out with Green Glitter. My enthusiasm is subdued. Right? I've now come to the realization, nice filly, small, reminds me, I made the comparison in April, and she reminds me exactly of Enzo. Exactly like him. She'll jump up and race good on her terms. And if you happen to drive her a little too hard, oh, she'll let you know. Again, she's so weird because when you're going at a slow speed, she's very pacey. And Eric said, this filly's really pacey. I said, yeah, she was like that last week. You know, Tim had Baycoxed her and worked on her AST, and she was good after that. She trained good. She's tight coming in, but the track's muddy and heavy, and it was heavy. Guy with the 5-horse blasts out of there and then just puts it in park. Like, it's like he is daring anybody to move. And I'm like, what is he doing? Like, just go 30, 102, and 3. No one cares. I don't care, Dave. But he's going slower. I think he was going to go 33 in a piece, 34. So Dave pops out. Now, this guy's horse is a little choppy and a tiny little thing. I said, I just come out also. Worst case scenario, Dave lets me go. Best case scenario, I just follow him over and drop in behind him. I don't know what's really going on with this horse. No, the guy chases the horse up and he fills the hole. So now I have to ask Green Glitter to keep going to the front. Now Dave Miller, does not work for UNICEF. That was the extent of his charity on the racetrack right there. It was letting me go with the filly and the Wildcat. I got across to the front and immediately know this is not where I want to be right now, this second. I got the scuba gear on. I'm literally 4 minutes from having a stroke. And Green Glitter, she may as well have the scuba gear on because she immediately, it's almost like I could see the gaslight flickering on her tail. I'm thinking, for sure Dave Miller is going to inhale me. Just don't make it be a bloodbath, please. Racing gods, just don't make it a bloodbath. We came out of the last turn and she trotted as hard as she could. Dave Miller just trotted right by her and she finished up behind him and raced okay. I wasn't disappointed with her. I thought, all things considered, the way that I drove her, the way that she raced, was exactly as good as she was going to allow us to have her today. She did okay. I wasn't disappointed. Now, Rosetta. Rosetta comes out on the track, and if you guys have watched Rosetta, we've been super careful with Rosetta. She's really fractious. Look at this. Is there an accident here? It blocked the entire other side of the road. Look at this. It's having a bad day. Wait until you see this show right here. There's a median there. There is nowhere for anybody to go. There's an accident right where? How did he get over there? That is insanity. And the whole road is blocked. I don't even know how that accident took place. There is a hill in between. Look at these poor buggers. They want to go up on the hill and over, and there's 5 cops there just waiting for them to try. Oh my goodness. Anyway, we've been super careful with Rosetta. You saw how I drove her the other day. She does trot the last turn very good, and she has made breaks in the straightaways. And no, this traffic goes on for miles. Oh my God. I would turn if I were you. Yeah, you're doing the right thing. I get away, third, fourth, and Sleepy Yannick there. He's going to take his time coming to the outside. I should have just looped him in the last turn and let her rock, only I don't know any of the horses. If if I had a time machine, I'm going to the winner's circle. I can guarantee you that. I take my time with her in the last turn. Yannick clears. I jump on him right away and I blow to the front. Now, when I do, keep in mind, Rosetta is a 2-year-old trotting filly. I blow to the front. She says, "Ooh, what a grandstand. That's pretty cool. Ooh, that's a nice tote board. Look at the flowers." She's a little green on the front end. But it never, truthfully speaking, it never dawns on me that he's going to come back on. And I don't. And what happens is, I think I get just a hair too cocky, and I let her slide out of top gear. It's late in the stretch. You can't. I pull earplugs, but I had the bit square in her mouth. I pull the earplugs, and I'm like, don't let her run. Don't put her on the run. And Yannick's coming back. Now he's starting to shit talk me, because that's what I would do to him. I just pretend he's not alive. I don't even look over at him. And he comes back and beats me. He pulls up. He's pretty proud of himself. I would have done the same thing. And I said, well, if I didn't have to wait for you for 3/8 of a mile, it probably would have been a better race for me. Didn't matter. His horse raced good, and I think he said they were just looking for a 2-year-old mark. They're going to turn that filly out now. So Rosetta was very strong. If I drop the hammer in the last turn, set the bit in her mouth, and just growl at her a couple of times down the lane, she's gone. I just did not want to have a bad experience with this filly. Keep in mind, at this point in the day, we're having a good day. I was second with Green Glitter. Luckily, I was third with Grand Slam Deo, and I thought she raced tremendous. Now I got a decent second with Rosetta. Call it a day. Our 2 best fillies are coming up for the day. 2 best shots outside of Rosetta were, that Gymboree was 15-1 morning line, which I didn't get. Now, forget how she raced just for a second. Here's a filly at second, trots at 56 in the Constellation, her last start. The other fillies that they're all raving about trotted 56 at the Meadowlands. I think we have a real contender. Keep in mind, Scotty said she was infinitely better her last start than the 2 previous. I think she's trained good. She's coming in good. She's had a good week. And this is where I have to take all the blame. We scoped the filly, a little bit of mucus and a couple of specks of blood. Considering what took place, that's not shocking. After, upon review, now we'll draw our blood, but this is a me. This is me. This was not blood. I'd be shocked if we found much in her blood. I didn't realize what was taking place. One, the front end was not playing well, and I thought I get up there 28-3 with a tailwind. It's not that hard. And I walked them through the half. I'm down along the rail in the first turn. Now remember, all the other races, I was following people. We were all off the rail. I was on the front in Gymboree's race down along the rail, and it was deep. We start down the backstretch, it's okay, and then it got really deep in the last turn along the rail. Now, I went back and watched some of the other races from horses that were on the front end, down along the rail. They all got destroyed today. All of them. And it wasn't until I raced a Tron in the last race. Now, I'm going into a Tron's race saying the front end's not playing. Now I'm talking to Scotty. He goes, yeah, it wasn't playing 3 races ago, but the last 2 winners were on the front end. Now they're watering the track. That's how quick this track dries out. It went from a swamp to they had to add water to it. So they're watering the track. I'm not going to chance it, though. I can't. Now I'm gun shy. The Tron's like 7-2. The 2 and the 9 are the favorites. The Yannick, too bad. Yannick was on the run, I think, going off the car. Todd McCarthy's leaving out of there. I can't remember what his odds were. I just remembered the numbers of the 2 long shots. Everybody else took a little bit of money, same as I did. All of their lines all look pretty good. So I'm thinking, I know Andy's right behind me. Not that worried about it. Even if he moves his horse to the front, I'm still close enough. I don't care. I don't know where Scotty is, but I like what I see so far. As we go into the first turn, Todd McCarthy is 2 and maybe 2.5 lengths off the rail. We're up there 30 seconds, 30 apiece. We are way out there. Well, that car's pulled over. The width of that car, right there on the side of the road, a Nissan, the width of that car off the rail. I was just down in there with Gymboree. And it wasn't until that moment in the day that I realized my error, that I realized what took place with Gymboree. Especially considering I just spoke to the vet and he said, no, she bled a couple of drops, but way less than when she first went to Oak Grove. And the mucus is dissipating. I would say her airway is improving. It's like, well, you didn't watch the race then, did you? It's not going to be in her blood. It's exactly what I told you. We were the width of a Nissan off the rail. Down the backstretch, we're down a little bit. In the last turn, we go again. Too wide off the rail. It's not where I was. I was right along the rail. I didn't notice it at the time. And it didn't become obviously apparent to me until I watched a couple of the other horses that were down along the rail. Go back and watch the replays. There's 2 or 3 or 4 races where somebody's down along the rail and the horse just disappears. Walks. Much like we did. Now, a Trot has flip-flops on. They have to come off. That cost her probably. She got a good trip. And then when I stepped on the gas, I felt her kind of scramble a little bit. And almost instantly, she felt a little bit flat. She's too fast and coming off too good a mile. Now, it's been 2 weeks, though. And they did come out from 57. They won't get away from her next time. Not at that speed, anyway. 9/16ths are on everybody else. 9/16ths will go on a Trump this week. I would love to, even though she might make a break. The mile's not going to hurt her anyway. I would love to qualify Grand Slam Deo without hobbles on. Scotty said he'd be there for the qualifiers. He'd go with her. I'm going to sleep on it and think about it. I asked Eric I said, when you go to jogger this week, jogger the right way of the track. And at one point in your jogging session, speed her up. Let me know what you think. I want to know what she feels like, because she felt really, 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 really good today. Now Scotty talked. I told Scotty, I said, Scotty, Westland Warrior, I said, hey, he is completely fixed. Trust me when I tell you this. Now, but Scotty's a professional. You can't just trust someone. In this industry, everybody that says, trust me, the horse is better than he shows, 9 times out of 10, you're wrong. I believe that you believe it. It's like George Costanza. If you believe it, it's not a lie. I believe you believe it, but you are incorrect. So I said, anyway, you'll see. And he weaved through. He said he was really. He said, Anthony, 27-4 on that track the other night. That was a huge last quarter. That horse was awesome. And then after the wire, we didn't talk much about it. But he said, after the wire, gone. He said he was green. He was stupid. He said, but man, he was totally different horse. I said, I know. He's completely fixed now. All straightened out. Just minor little adjustments here and there. Eric's input. I trained the horse. The horse trained way better the other day. It was good. Really good. So it all worked out. And Memento Mori, I told him when he left there, he goes, he's on the right line in Oak Grove, and he's really hot. I said, Scott, trust me when I tell you. Scotty drives horses, but if you can't compare, right, it might be lost on you. I might tell you something, but you might not quite understand it because you didn't see it with your own eyes or feel it with your own hands. The transition from Oak Grove to Kentucky is immense. The surface is like a different planet. The horses respond. A good horse responds very well. Eric told me Pickpocket's already trotting better. It's hard to explain, and I told him, I said, Memento Mori will be 2 fingers in Kentucky and will be a totally different horse. Now, we made some shoeing adjustments to him before his last start. Wanted to take the hobbles off him. Still want to take the hobbles off him. They won't let us. We got to qualify. It's not worth the qualifier to do it, so we're not gonna. He doesn't need them. But Scotty said, I drove him terrible. I should have protected position in the last turn, and once Andy got ahead of me, there wasn't much I could do. He still tried to run him down. A horse that the people that have that horse think extremely highly of. Pinsky family, sharp customers. There's no moss on them, that's for sure. They are sharp people. And they said that the colt that won that race, Go Dog Go, I think that's his name, Go Dog Go, was one of their top trainers. If it's a lie to you, it's a lie to me. I'm just telling you what he said. But he said, Tony, he said, 2 fingers now. I said, I just told you, Scotty, night and day. This colt's sitting, no blood, no mucus, under scope. This colt's sitting on a big mile. I would say, to be certain, give him 2 starts. Now, I was a little surprised. I said, you want to leave him in the B division or go up to the A? He goes, no. Leave him in the B for now. Okay, whatever. It's only been 1 division anyway. Who cares? He's sitting on a big mile. He'll go a big mile next week, but his biggest mile will be 3 starts from now. Mark my words. 1, 2, 3. And you're going to see him go a big mile. Anyway, that was today in a nutshell. I was racking my brain all afternoon. And as much as I'd like to not put blame on myself, you know, there's times when I say, I might have made a mistake, or part of that was me. That was all me. 100%. Especially after I heard the vet talk about the scope. Now, I haven't got the blood back, but I would bet any one of my 10 fingers or toes that her blood's going to come back just fine. Bilirubin might be a little high. Hemoglobin might be a little low because she did show a few specks of blood. But there's not going to be any high GGT. There's not going to be any high AST. That was me. So my apologies to my partners. It was just an error. It was an error on my part. But everybody else raced good. It was a good day at the office thus far. I'm going to settle in. I was going to stay for supper, and I said, you know what? No, I had a big break in between Gymboree and a Tron, and it was bothering me so much, that race, that I left. I left when I got a quick bite to eat, and then came back. I'll be home by 10:58, this says, but it's closer to 10:30. But I have to be up early again tomorrow. 7 o'clock rise. No, 6:30 rise. Have to be in Pennsylvania by 8:30 because I want to go both trips with What a Lady, What a Night. Both trips with the priest, or at least the last one with him for sure. Who's the other horse qualifying? Oh, our boy Delicious Stone DK is qualifying tomorrow. Also, I don't gotta go with him. The trips anyway. And then we're training Melisandre tomorrow. No need to school her. She could drive the starting gate now. She doesn't care. And Irresistible Son, I'm going to school him in about 2 minutes, 2-2, in preparation for Saturday. That's the best we can do. Is he coming in sharp? Yeah, he's sharp, but he's not tight. He's as tight as we can have him. I think if we went any more than that, we would jeopardize tiring him out, maybe having him a little sore going into Saturday. So a nice little mile in 2 minutes, 2-2. Not going to push him. Just stretch him out a little bit for Saturday, and he'll be ready to go. So that is what's on now. That's what happened today thus far. We still have horses racing tonight. Let's see if my iPad can remember anything. There's the sale that was today. I did bid on a couple of horses today and didn't get any of them. They went a little higher. There's one horse I could have went a little more on, but don't worry, they're all coming out of the woodwork, just like I told you they would. We'll acquire a couple of more horses over the next couple of weeks. Drebin, can't forget about Drebin. He races in half an hour. Excited to watch him. Yo Mister is scratched tonight. He was sick, so he will not be racing this evening. Great bet races tonight. Save America, Scotty St. Anthony. He's 12-1. He's got the 7-hole. Gold Cup's coming up. We're just going to race him off the pace. All right. Cool. It's fine with me. I think what we'll do is ship both those horses over and school them Friday morning at Mohawk Raceway. Where am I at Friday? Thursday, I'm in Scioto. Thursday, I'm in Scioto. Friday night, I'm at the Meadows. Yeah, well, you know what? James is going to drive one or both of them in the elimination, so he can drive them both. He can drive them both Friday morning. Brace for Landing is in tonight, and All Gas, No Brakes. The one that I'm not the most interested, but very interested to watch today is All Gas, No Brakes. This is second start for Tyler. He knows him now. He can race him now. I'm curious to see what he's going to do with this horse tonight. So good luck to everybody tonight. As I said to my partners in Gymboree, I feel terrible over this, feel awful. It was 100% my fault and not the filly's fault. She'll bounce back. We'll drop her down a division to try and get some confidence back into her. Long year yet, and a step backwards, and that's on me. But she'll bounce back. She's a tough filly. Anyway, I will talk to you all soon. Have a wonderful rest of your night, and good good luck to everybody at the track.